Right now at 6, authorities have now charged a man with murder in connection with the shooting of an Amazon driver.
And we've got some drizzle for some of us, a light wintry mix out there, and it is going to continue through the day. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, with recent plane crashes in the U.S., many travelers are dealing with flight anxiety. We take a look at how people should tackle fears of flying.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday. It is February the 11th, and it is very cold outside. Very chilly this morning.
It is chilly.
And something I didn't mention earlier, but I'm sure some of you folks around here are familiar with Roy D. Mercer. You may not have ever heard of this guy. So it was a persona created by DJ down in Tulsa.
Okay.
His real name's Brent. Okay, and he did this Roy D. Mercer. They did prank calls. You folks at home, I'm sure if I know about it, my parents knew about him. There are folks at home. You guys have to know who he was. And it was always these, "How big a boy are you?" He'd like threaten to come down and beat people up. He made all these prank calls. It was great. Well, anyway, he passed away yesterday, unfortunately. So, yeah, if you remember Roy D. Mercer, maybe break out one of those old CDs and listen to some of his crank calls today. A great day to stay inside and listen to Roy D. Mercer. I can't do all of them, but if you're familiar with him, you know who he is, and may he rest in peace. Certainly, it brought me a lot of entertainment when I was younger. And I'm going to try and entertain you this morning with Look Outside. It's not very entertaining, but it is entertainment in a way. What we do is entertainment in a way, just not quite the same. Maybe we should do that. Maybe for the morning show, we should start doing like prank calls. Like have people like request prank calls I'm kidding, that's a terrible idea. But otherwise, see, now here's the thing. Pittsburgh looking okay so far. It's cloudy, but not seeing that much in terms of precipitation. But where we have been seeing it is down a little further south. Joplin, all morning we've had drizzle, and you can see the camera's beginning to dry off, which means that the drizzle's probably coming to an end. And I say that like I don't know because I don't know. Drizzle doesn't show up on radar, and actually it's a lie. You can still see it coming down. It doesn't show up on radar, so without looking and making a visual assessment, it's hard to tell if it's still coming down or not unless you're there. But we still have that. Now it's going to lead to some slick spots. Drizzle also leading to some reduced visibilities across portions of southwest Missouri, almost right along the I-44 corridor, and then turning down the 69 corridor into Delaware and Ottawa counties in northeastern Oklahoma and extreme southeast Kansas. Winter storm warnings out there. Hard to see that color, but these 3 counties right here, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories for the rest of these colors, all with different expiration times, but all of them running through tomorrow because tomorrow's when the snow or the main snow will arrive. Now today, just like the drizzle, we have the possibility of a light wintry mix, maybe some light snow showers or flurries throughout the day. Not going to show up on the future track, but that will be the case for us. We should stay warm enough, at least air temperature-wise, that it won't be that big of a deal, but slick spots will be possible, especially on bridges and overpasses, because they have a tendency, as you know, to freeze first because there's cold air underneath them. Temperatures around the region, all of us into the 30s to start the day, so warmer than where we were yesterday, but most of us are wind chills in the 20s, so it still feels like it did yesterday. Kids getting on the bus this morning, again, light wintry mix. This is the only wintry mix thing that this computer had. It looks like a blizzard. It's not how it's going to be, but wintry mix out there, low 30s, northeast winds 5 to 10, and again, maybe some light snow or flurries this afternoon, about 35. Northeast winds now gusting upwards of 20. Mid 30s where our highs are headed, so well below normal out there, and we'll have those scattered snow showers. Our lows tonight are going to be similar to our highs tomorrow because temperatures will drop tomorrow as that snow rolls in. We'll have the details on that for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. Authorities upgrade charges against the man connected with shooting an Amazon driver. Authorities say the Amazon driver, now identified as 23-year-old Jasmine Sky Taylor, was shot while delivering packages off Missouri 97 in Lawrence County last Wednesday. Video footage from inside the Amazon vehicle showed Taylor traveling down Highway 97 in Wentworth where she was shot. Taylor then crashed off the roadway into a fence. Sunday night, Taylor died from her injuries. Investigators say this man, Thomas Coy, confessed to shooting Taylor with a pellet rifle, pulling her from the vehicle and laying her in a ditch. Coy was originally charged with assault and armed criminal action. Authorities say charges have been upgraded to first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Coy remains held without bond in Lawrence County Jail. Well, BB guns and pellet guns account for 4 deaths a year. That number is according to the Consumer Product Safety. Now, while that may not seem like much, experts say air guns should be treated no different from a regular firearm. Now, just over 3 million are sold each year in the U.S., and around 30,000 people go to the hospital for injuries from them, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. One gun dealer in southwest Missouri spoke to the dangers of pellet rifles. Many that make their way through the store used compressed air, which means a higher velocity.
Been developed over time now, and there are actually regulations and rules in place in most states, including Missouri, on what you can use and what's large enough to actually hunt deer with.
Newman also says that while the federal government doesn't recognize air rifles as a regular firearm, they should have the same amount of respect and responsibility. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, with the potential for winter weather in the next few days, the Missouri Department of Transportation says they are getting prepared. MoDOT says they have enough staff to be able to have all their available snowplows and salt spreaders running. Some parts of the state are expected to be hit harder than others. MoDOT representatives say they'll be sending resources to where they are most needed, but all major roads will be plowed regardless.
We have approximately statewide 3,000 employees ready to plow and treat roads as needed for this storm. We have about 1,500 plow trucks. We staff those trucks 12-hour shifts, so we cover 24-hour period.
Now, he asked that drivers be aware of plow trucks working to clear the roads and to give them plenty of space. With the recent airplane disasters across the United States, some flyers are on edge about flying. Now, according to the Federal Aviation Administration, there have been about 15 crashes, including minor crashes so far in 2025. Particularly the American Airlines flight collision near D.C. and the medical jet crash just a few days later have some questioning how safe is flying. A Joplin mental health professional wants to remind people flying is a reliable form of transportation and doesn't want people to live in fear. He recommends anxiety managing tips.
Even with the incidents that we've had recently, flying is considered by all the statistics the safest form of travel that you can engage in, so much more so than driving does.
Now, according to the National Safety Council, commercial air travel is one of the safest modes of transportation, and the odds of being in a fatal motor vehicle crash is 1 in 95, and they consider the odds of being in a fatal airplane crash too small to calculate. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The national egg shortage has forced Trader Joe's to place a limit on how many eggs consumers can purchase. Plus, President Trump will host Jordan's King Abdullah for talks on Palestinian relocation. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Trader Joe's has set a 1 dozen egg limit per day for customers due to the avian flu. A company spokesperson says this will help stores prevent their shelves from going bare. Avian flu resulted in the deaths of more than 40 million egg-laying birds in 2024. The lack of eggs has caused them to be more expensive and led some people to try to buy large amounts per visit. Trader Joe's isn't the only retailer attempting to cope with the egg supply shortage. Kroger officials say although they haven't officially placed a limit, some of its stores have done so based on availability. Waffle House has added a 50-cent price hike for meals that include eggs, and the Agriculture Department predicts the cost of eggs will increase 20% before the end of the year. Well, today, President Donald Trump will welcome his first Arab leader to the White House since beginning his second term. King Abdullah of Jordan is visiting hours after the president reiterated his proposed plan to move Palestinians out of Gaza. Now, all this comes as the Trump administration continues to face new legal challenges to efforts to slash government workers and spending. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
Many times.
Today, President Donald Trump will host Jordan's King Abdullah after doubling down on his proposal to take over Gaza and permanently relocate millions of Palestinians to neighboring countries, including Jordan.
Think of it as a real estate development for the future. It would be a beautiful piece of land.
Would the Palestinians have the right to return?
No, they wouldn't, because they're going to have much better housing.
The president has suggested he may cut off aid to countries that refuse to take in more Palestinians. All this comes as President Trump has also issued an ultimatum to Hamas, demanding the remaining Israeli hostages be released.
They ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday. And after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
The threat followed the terror group's announcement that it would delay the next hostage release, accusing Israel of violating their ceasefire agreement. Israeli officials say their military is now on high alert. The Trump administration is also facing mounting legal pressure over Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency's plan to slash government spending. A federal employees union is suing to block the dismantling of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
This is the beginning of making America rich again.
Also, yesterday, President Trump said he's considering more tariffs after signing an executive order placing a 25% tariff on all aluminum and steel imports. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
A federal judge in Boston has extended the pause on the Trump administration's deferred resignation program, which promises to give full benefits to federal workers through September if they opted to step down from their roles. Meanwhile, CBS News has learned that the Department of Justice has told its officials in New York to drop corruption charges against New York City's Mayor Eric Adams. And to look at some of today's top national stories, here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. We are socked in with clouds, but as mentioned, that drizzle and light snow and stuff just will not show up on radar. You can see there's some heavier stuff well off to our east. We do have more on the way. We'll have another look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes.
Susan, a Pittsburgh woman who says she was constantly battling mold in her rental home. After asking for the problem to be fixed, she was informed her lease would not be renewed. After that report, she says it was the community who stepped up to help her start a new chapter and finally get some answers.
Susan Ledbetter is settling down in a new, clean apartment after battling mold in her previous home for 6 years.
I had to check everything, and we had a big box over here and we just toss it in the box if we saw mold on it.
When we previously spoke with Ledbetter, she told us her lease was no longer renewed after reporting mold problems to her property manager. The mold was a consistent issue that Ledbetter says wasn't taken seriously. She showed us text messages where her property manager would respond to her concerns with, "Not mold again," with a crying face emoji.
But in her case, we see that she was not overreacting.
When Lee saw Ledbetter's story, he offered to help. He works for Springfield Quality Services as an air quality professional. He tests for and treats mold problems. Lee visited Ledbetter's home.
Once we began our investigation, we started to see relatively quickly that there was aspergillus present on surfaces and in areas where mold tends to hide out.
The investigation found the mold Ledbetter knew wasn't gone.
It's kind of like an aha moment. It's kind of like, yes, I knew it.
Tape lift testing and air samples located heavy amounts of aspergillus, a type of mold found in places which have or have had high humidity. Lee says aspergillus has a species attached to it called Aspergillus fumigatus, which when breathed in can cause an allergic reaction or infection in the sinuses and lungs. Both Ledbetter and her daughter previously reported having coughing fits, asthma, and frequent headaches when in the home.
It was very concerning to us because we began to see the aspergillus was presenting itself on surfaces and on her contents and in the air supply pipes. which delivers air to the home.
In our previous report, Charles Moline, the CEO of the property management company, claimed the issue was addressed 1 month before Lee did mold testing at the Ledbetter home. Lee found evidence of dust mites on Ledbetter's cutting board, which he says is evidence that mold had been present for at least 6 to 9 months. He says in his professional opinion, proper mold remediation at the home was not done, and likely not done for years.
They might be trying to save a buck here and there, and professional remediation by a mold contractor is very expensive. However, they have to understand that their client or their tenant's health is at stake.
Ledbetter says the results are a reassurance after years of experiences she says weren't taken seriously.
It just felt like a huge burden was lifted.
As Ledbetter plants roots in her new home, friends and family have helped her replace ruined items. She says she's left feeling even more frustrated by the lack of accountability from her former landlord and property management company.
I want them to pay. I do. I think it's their responsibility because they were the ones that have been negligent this entire time.
Most of all, Ledbetter says she fears for what future tenants in the residence might go through.
Somebody's not fixing the problem and is going to let another family maybe, or an individual, another human move in there when it hasn't been taken care of.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
We've been reporting on Susan's struggles with mold in that home for the past 6 years. You can find our previous coverage on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, taking a look outside, you just missed it. A couple of MoDOT plow trucks rolling down the road there as we get ready for some winter weather. We'll have all those details for you right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:24 on this Tuesday morning. Just moments ago, if you look, we're still getting that drizzle now. Yet it is not showing up on the radar, nor will it. But we are still getting some. We had a moment of heavy drizzle there for a second. In fact, here it comes again from MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. Not everybody is seeing something right now, but most of us should be seeing something about 24 hours from now. We have winter storm warnings up here in the pink through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. This bluish color here, and here. It's hard to tell the difference, but that is a winter storm watch through 6 o'clock tomorrow. And then from here through this section of southeast Kansas, winter weather advisories through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening as well. For Oklahoma, and they've actually pulled it out for Benton County. So just for Craig, Nowata, and Washington counties, northeast Oklahoma, these are winter weather advisories through 3 o'clock tomorrow. And then for Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties in Kansas and southwest Missouri, excluding Newton, McDonald County, these are winter weather advisories through 9 o'clock tomorrow. And you may be going, maybe you haven't been paying attention that much here lately. We had the Super Bowl, a lot to talk about. Going, why are all these winter weather things? What's going on? Well, we're going to tell you. Now today, we're looking at the possibility of some light snow showers, maybe a light wintry mix. Nothing too crazy, some light flurries. It shouldn't add up to much, but the concern today is simply going to be bridges and overpasses. Our temperatures are only going to be about the mid-30s. Bridges and overpasses, it's going to be easy for them to freeze or be frozen through most of the day, so please slow down. Watch out on your commute today, okay? Now, tomorrow morning, that's where it's going to get a little more interesting. Now, the bulk of the heavy snow, again, where the main winter storm warnings are off to our north, that's where the worst of it's going to be. But some of our far northern counties, north of 54, could pick up a fair amount of snow tomorrow. But all of us will get in on something. Now, down south, it's looking to stay a little warmer further south of I-44. Hence why, at this point, Ottawa, Delaware, Newton, McDonald, and Benton counties are not under any kind of winter weather alerts at all at this time, because it looks as though it's going to stay warm enough that, yeah, you may get maybe a glaze of ice or some flurries, but it's mostly going to be too warm and mostly going to be rain. The rest of us, though, that's 5 a.m. This is all through the morning, just snow and periods of heavy snow at times, and it's going to be breezy, so we're going to watch out for that as well, so we might have some blowing snow out there, leading to temporarily reduced visibilities. This will continue through noon, and then the bulk of the accumulating snow should be gone by about 5, but we'll still be dealing with some flurries out there. So how much snow? This is the best computer estimate. Now, through today, again, we've actually seen most of it for today be removed. And we weren't looking at much for today anyway, but you can see maybe 1/10 of an inch at best. It's going to be tomorrow that we're going to see that. And again, 54 and north is where the better opportunities for more snow will be. You get south of that, we're in, let's say, a 2 to 4 inch or maybe a 3 to 5 inch zone. And then along I-44, we'll say it's 2 to 4. And south of that, maybe a dusting to 2 inches of snow out there. So that's what we're looking forward to. That's what we've got going on. Now, again, today, mid-30s, low 30s tonight. That's how we'll start Wednesday. Temperatures will be falling through the day. Breezy, northeast winds gusting to 25. We'll have the snow. We'll have the wintry mix. We'll have some rain out there, kind of all of them. Teens, though, Wednesday night. Much colder Thursday. Not bad Friday, Saturday. Maybe some rain on Saturday. Cold again Sunday. We get this roller coaster ride of temperatures going. Maybe some additional rain or wintry stuff next week as well. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, young children with poorly developed social and cognitive skills tend to struggle in school as teenagers. A study published in the British Medical Journal found 16-year-olds who had cognitive and behavioral issues throughout their childhood were nearly 4.5 times more likely to not pass standard exams. The study highlights how critical early childhood development is. Well, there's hope for kids with peanut allergies. A new study by the National Institutes of Health found children with allergies who gradually ate increasing amounts of peanut butter over 18 months eventually could eat 3 full tablespoons of peanut butter without an allergic reaction. Now, this method worked for 100% of the kids in the study, but the treatment should only be done under the supervision of a doctor. A surprising result in a study on what kind of person was more resilient during the COVID pandemic. Researchers from Oregon State University found adults with a high level of playfulness proved to be more resilient than other groups. These people were able to enjoy everyday activities, keep their sense of humor, adapt to challenging situations, and were overall all more optimistic, leading to better management of stress. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, community members in Columbus, Kansas rolled up their sleeve to support a good cause.
And we've got drizzle for some. Others are dry this morning, and it is certainly cold across the board. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
Plus, as we head deeper into flu season, we ask a pharmacist in Missouri what they stock in their medicine cabinet.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, and it is now February the 11th, and it is Tuesday.
Yes. Yes. It's cold.
It certainly is. Actually, believe it or not, technically we're a little warmer than where we were yesterday, but we have a breeze, and so our wind chills are putting our temperatures, the feels like temperatures, about back where we were yesterday, so can't really tell the difference.
No.
But technically, it is warmer this morning, but not by much. Now, here's the other problem, though. The temperatures we're sitting at now, going to be a lot of change between here and the afternoon hours. Okay, so that's what we got to contend with. Let's take a quick look outside, shall we? It's with our camera, of course, downtown Pittsburgh. Excuse me. It is located on top of a building at 4th and Broadway, and it's looking roughly back to the south and east. If you take a look, roads are relatively dry here in Pittsburgh. But we go to Joplin, not the case. Take a look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. Roads are wet, and we've been dealing with drizzle all morning long. And eventually, we're all going to get in on some kind of drizzle or some light snow, flurries, nothing major. Okay, we're not really expecting anything in the way of accumulation today, but it could lead to some slick spots, again, especially on bridges and overpasses, because those are going to freeze first. We also have some patchy fog, mainly because of the drizzle, stretching almost right along the I-44 corridor, then parts of I-49 back up into Barton County, so from Lamar, Jasper, Carthage, Joplin, Neosho, Anderson, We get Miami, we get Grove, we get Commerce, we come up I-44, we get Fairland, we get Seneca. So you get an idea, just this zone here. Also stretching into parts of Kansas. So this is going to include parts of Galena, Riverton, Baxter Springs, also dealing with that fog. And we'll go over these details with you here in a few minutes. We have winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, and then winter weather advisories for just about everybody else except these 5 counties, because it's going to be warm enough. You may not see much in the way of wintry weather at all. Today, future track, much like the Skywatch Storm Tracker is right now, nothing showing up, but we will have that possibility of some light snow showers, some light flurries, light wintry mix here and there. But again, nothing major expected for us today. Quick check of those temperatures. As I mentioned, we are technically warmer than yesterday. We're all into the low to mid 30s. However, as I mentioned too, these temperatures won't move much. But with those breezes, temperatures, wind chills at least, back into the 20s. So it doesn't feel any warmer than yesterday. So kids getting on the bus, we're looking at maybe some light snow, light wintry mix. Low 30s, northeast winds 5 to 10. Northeast winds start gusting to 20 later. Mid 30s, we'll have some light snow showers, maybe some flurries out there. And that'll be how we spend our day. Some light snow showers, light flurries. Nothing crazy. Mid 30s for our highs. The main event begins to arrive early tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that in detail with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, flu cases are surging in the U.S. The latest info from the CDC shows doctor visits for flu illnesses have reached the highest level since 2009. Now, the flu virus happens to knock on your door. A pharmacist from Anderson, Missouri, has some expert advice on what you should have stocked in your cabinet.
For flu and cold symptoms, I would do the over-the-counter Tylenol severe cold and flu is typically my go-to. It covers multi-symptoms including runny nose, fever, maybe cough and congestion. There's also Delsum over-the-counter. I recommend if you have a dry hacking cough, taking that every 12 hours just as needed.
According to Walgreens Flu Index, Oklahoma ranks #1 in the nation for states with flu activity. Arkansas ranked 4th on the list, and Oklahoma City and Tulsa ranked 1 and 7 for designated market areas for flu activities. The community of Columbus, Kansas rolled up its sleeve yesterday to support a good cause. The Community Blood Center of the Ozarks hosted a blood drive across the Ozarks. Someone's friend, family member, coworker, neighbor, or loved one needs blood every 7 minutes. Now, not only do blood drives benefit the community, but some recipients like to reach out and express their thanks for the potentially life-saving gift.
And we actually have a Thank the Donor program that I really like. It sends out I can't remember if it's email or text message, but it sends out a notification to what hospital your blood actually went to, so it kind of helps you know that it's helping people in your community. And then if the recipient decides, they can send a message back to you thanking you. And we have a bunch of people that do that, and I love that program.
Community Blood Center of the Ozarks says eligible donors can give blood every 56 days. Well, dealing with finances can create stress for many people, but the Miami Public Library tried to alleviate some of that stress through a class yesterday. The library invited the First National Bank to host a class on fraud awareness and scam prevention. This is part of the Financial Literacy Week program. The goal of the program is to give people more information to help themselves financially.
Someone doesn't know how to budget, if someone doesn't know how to budget how many groceries they can purchase a week, if they can't be able to pay all of their bills, and I mean, there's so much to it. So our goal is to help educate our community, to provide the information at their fingertips to be able to make more informed decisions financially.
Experts say Financial Literacy Week is a great way to brush up on the basics of financial literacy, budgeting, saving, borrowing, and banking. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The FDA announced a canned tuna recall due to possible botulism contamination. And we're tracking snow chances. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, The CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, rejected a $97 billion offer to buy the company from an investor group led by billionaire Elon Musk. The unsolicited bid came as Musk has sued the artificial intelligence company that he helped co-fund to stop its push to become for profit. OpenAI runs popular AI chatbot ChatGPT. The FDA says Tri-Union Seafoods is recalling canned tuna due to possible botulism contamination. The tuna was sold by several major retailers under various brand names, including H-E-B, Trader Joe's, Genova, sold at some Costco's, Publix, Safeway, and other locations, and as the Van Camp's label at some Walmarts. No illnesses have been reported so far, and consumers are urged to throw away the recalled products. And Bath & Body Works wants to give customers the royal treatment. The fragrance and personal care retailer is launching a Disney Princess collection with lotions, sprays, candles, and other items inspired by some of the company's iconic characters like Cinderella, Jasmine, and Moana. The collection hits store shelves and the company's website on February 16th. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, depending on where you are is going to determine what you're seeing so far this morning. For example, downtown Pittsburgh, our camera there, roads are looking relatively clear. We're relatively dry as well. We have cloudy skies overhead, but nothing really falling from the sky. But then we head south to Joplin, even just outside the station. We're getting this drizzle. It's got wet spots just about everywhere, and we've even had some heavy drizzle at times, which has led to some reduced visibilities across the area. You can kind of see where that's been. Back toward, again, Baxter Springs, Riverton, Galena, Carthage, Jasper, maybe Lamar, Neosho, Seneca, Joplin, Miami, Fairland, Commerce, Grove, Seneca, down to Anderson, Cassville, Mount Vernon, Monette. You get the idea. This zone right here, that's where we're still dealing with that. Now, the concern is, while this isn't going to accumulate or add up to much of anything, it's going to be cold enough that it could freeze on bridges and overpasses, so you need to slow down out there. Watch out for those slick spots. Winter storm warnings through tomorrow evening, winter storm watches, then winter weather advisories across the bulk of the area, excluding 5 counties where it should be warm enough tomorrow that you don't get much. Now today, not much out there. Skywatch or the future track not picking up on much, but we're looking at some light snow showers, light drizzle. That'll continue through the day, light wintry mix out there. No major accumulations. In fact, almost no accumulations expected at all. Just some slick spots as the primary concern. Temperatures this morning, all of us, low to mid 30s out there, but with the winds, it does feel colder. The majority of us, it feels like it is still in the 20s, so not much change from yesterday in terms of the wind chill, but our temperatures, air temperature at least, is a bit warmer. Kids get on the bus this morning, low 30s, northeast wind 5 to 10. We'll have a wintry mix, a light wintry mix out there, maybe some light snow, flurries, light wintry mixes when that bus brings them home. Mid 30s, northeast winds gusting to 20. Temperatures won't move much from that spot, and then we have the snow tomorrow. We'll talk about that here in just a moment, as well as birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, more of Gail's exclusive interview with the family of Stephen Twitch Boss. She is sitting down with the dancer's mother and younger brother. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays. We're going to start with Kaylee Lohman, celebrating birthday number 6 with love from Auntie Bibi and Uncle Rodney.
And in Uniontown, a happy 10th birthday to Lane Northcutt.
And our neighbor in Crestline, Emma Jesse, celebrating birthday number 11. Happy birthday.
And a happy 14th birthday to Raya Watson in Pittsburgh. It says, happy birthday, love your family and friends.
And down in Commerce, Henry Rector, celebrating birthday number 15. Says, happy birthday from your family.
And a happy 22nd birthday to Carson Dudolski in Jasper. There he is.
And we've got Caleb Cornell in Knoll celebrating birthday number 26. Says happy birthday, love always and forever from Mom.
And a happy 48th anniversary in Columbus to Dennis and Kathy Leeson.
And another 48th anniversary, this one in Chetopa, where Johnny and Janet Zwalen are celebrating their anniversary today. A very happy anniversary to you. A happy anniversary and birthday to everyone on our list. And you guys know the drill. If you want to celebrate, Elise has the information you need to know.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration as well.
Absolutely. And we've got a lot to cover in terms of the possibilities, well, not just the possibilities, the likelihood that we're going to get some snow over the next 24 hours or so here in the 4 states. We're going to start with this. So again, a reminder, there are 5 National Weather Service offices that cover our area: Topeka, Kansas City, Springfield, Tulsa, Wichita. Okay, so that's why when it comes to things like this, winter weather advisories and winter weather alerts in general are traditionally issued by the local forecast office. So that's why we have a variety of them, 3 different types of alerts and 3 different expiration times on them. Yeah, it gets exciting. Severe weather season's a little easier because severe thunderstorm watches, tornado watches, those come from the National Weather Service, or Storm Prediction Center rather, in Norman, and then they're issued as a blanket, so it kind of overrides that local jurisdiction. So we get to this. So we have winter storm warnings in the pink color through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Winter storm watches as well through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. And then this portion of southeast Kansas, winter weather advisories through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Then we get into Nowata, Craig, and Washington counties in northeast Oklahoma, winter weather advisories through 3 o'clock tomorrow. And then Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties in southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri fall under the Springfield office. These are winter weather advisories through 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. And we've got no advisories or alerts for Newton, McDonald, Benton, Delaware, or Ottawa counties. Because when we show you the future track into tomorrow, you kind of see why. It's expected to be a little warmer south of Highway 60. And so that's why not looking at anything significant. Now, right now, like I said, we've had drizzle in Joplin all the way up here to the station almost all morning long, and our camera in Pittsburgh's been dry. And so that's going to be how it is. It won't show up on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, nor will it show up on Future Track, but we're going to have an opportunity for some drizzle, light wintry mix, light flurries, light snow showers, that kind of thing throughout the day today. Now, we're not expecting anything in the way of accumulation today, but it could be cold enough, it's going to be cold enough, that bridges and overpasses could freeze. We could have some slick spots, so do slow down, be careful out there, and make sure you just plan accordingly. Now, tomorrow morning, you really want to be paying attention. 2 a.m. Here comes the snow, starting from west to east out there, and it will continue across the area. Now, here's where it gets a little more interesting. We have rain down to the south, but as you can see, south of 60, temperatures are above freezing. Not by much, but they are above freezing. That's why we don't have any winter weather alerts in this zone right here in these 5 counties, because I think it's going to be just warm enough that it won't be significant in terms of snow or even ice accumulations, although a glaze will be possible along and south of I-44. Bulk of that north of that point is going to be snow, and it carries on all morning long. And through noon, we still have some accumulating snowfall falling, but as we head later into the afternoon and evening, we're going to be left with just flurries. So the main accumulating snow will be done. We'll just have some light snow, light flurries out there as we head into tomorrow evening, and the temperatures begin to drop. So in terms of snow totals, I believe this is going to be our more accurate representation. Now today, remember yesterday we had like a 1/10 of an inch out there. We don't even have that really for most of us. Again, today we're not expecting much. It's going to be as we head through tomorrow that we're going to see all of a sudden, here comes the snow. So I think down south of I-44, we're looking at maybe 1 to 3 inches. You get north of I-44 to say, 126 or so. We're going to go 2 to 4 inches. You go north of that, and we start to see slightly higher amounts, hence the winter storm warnings up there where we could see higher amounts of snow. Quick check of temperatures. Again, you can see the roadways are wet in Joplin. We've had that drizzle almost all morning long. 32, but it does feel like 25 with the north-northeast breeze at 8. So our temperatures this morning are warmer than where we were yesterday. We're all into the 30s, but our wind chills are hanging out in the 20s, so still a bit chilly out there. You can't really tell the difference, but it is technically warmer this morning than where we were 24 hours ago. So that wintry mix, some snow showers, light flurries, that'll continue through the day off and on, and we'll have temperatures just kind of hovering in the low 30s. We're going to have another look at your forecast here in just a moment, and of course we'll see you over on KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, and that's coming up at 7 a.m. We'll be right back.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities upgrade charges against Thomas Coy with the death of 23-year-old Amazon driver Jasmine Sky Taylor. Investigators say Thomas Coy confessed to shooting Taylor with a pellet rifle, pulling her from the vehicle and laying her in a ditch. Charges have now been upgraded to first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Coy remains held without bond in Lawrence County Jail. The latest info from the CDC shows flu illnesses have reached the highest level since 2009. Experts say if the flu does visit, be sure to have medicine readily available. Those medications include over-the-counter severe cold and flu Tylenol or over-the-counter Delsym. Now, with the potential for winter weather in the next few days, the Missouri Department of Transportation says they are working to get prepared. MoDOT representatives say they'll be sending resources to where they are most needed, but all major roads will be plowed regardless. Drivers are asking to beware of plow tracks and to give them plenty of space. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
You head out the door, we've got that drizzle out there. Could lead to slick spots, especially bridges and overpasses. Mid-30s today, breezy. We'll have light snow showers, flurries, a light wintry mix throughout the day and into the evening and overnight. Temperatures eventually falling back in the low 30s. No accumulations expected today, but it will be tomorrow that we'll start to see the accumulating snowfall, especially north of I-44. Breezy, low 30s to start. Temperatures falling. We'll be back into the teens tomorrow night. Cold on Thursday, a little warmer Friday and Saturday. Maybe some showers as we head into Saturday.
Alrighty. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making Scandinavian cabbage soup in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. President Trump is talking about getting rid of the Department of Education. Next on CBS Mornings, Jill Schleichinger explains what it means for people still trying to pay off their student loans.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Jasmine Kyle from the SAK Humane Society joins us in the studio with an invitation to an art gala.
Plus, Charlene Patton also in the studio with another deliciously healthy recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. Again, we'll probably be tracking snow as we go on the air tomorrow morning. Make sure you plan accordingly. And of course, if there are any school closings, we'll have them online and on air as well. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.